Hey everybody, what is up? Jeff, aka GCurse here. I hope you're all having a great day. It is currently 9:14 a.m. on the 27th of December 2023. It is Wednesday here in the city of Kelso, Washington. It is actually starting to rain a little bit. I'm glad I got home when I did. I had to go get some groceries, and by the time I got home, it was actually starting to rain. So I'm just glad that it decided to start raining when I got home. There's nothing I hate worse than driving in, basically driving when it's raining. That and also when it's snowing. I fucking hate that. Anyway, welcome to another GCurse Reacts. This is something I do every now and then if I just see something that I figure I would do a reaction to. Today it is actually going to be the Prime vs. Prime Tigerhawk review. He posted this, I think it was yesterday. And I thought I'd give you my thoughts regarding it. I hope you guys like the picture that you see ahead of you, or that you see in front of you. Basically, I've been working with the Windows AI image generator, and I've been getting a lot of weird fucking results. For some reason, even though I like to try to have my character be like in anime style, they would constantly give him 2 earrings, and I'm like, and I even put down like no earrings, and they'd give him earrings. I said goatee, and it would give me like a full beard. So I ended up like literally putting down like no goatee, no earrings, and it did the same thing. And then I literally just I took off the anime. I took off anything regarding the facial hair. I took that off. I also took off earrings, and this is finally what I got. This is, even though it looks like he has a goatee, this is like the best result so far. I just like kind of tinkering with that image generator because it gives you a chance to, do a little bit of artistic, let's hear, ability, to come out, I guess you could say. But yeah, this is the best I've got so far, Anyway, so let's actually get to the video, shall we? So let's turn on the webcam. Okay, there it goes. So basically, like I said, this is his Tigerhawk review, and I want to give you my thoughts. So let's actually get to it, shall we? So 3, 2, 1. Hey, hold on. Okay, there goes. Overall, right now, I have Tigerhawk on the way. He's supposed to hopefully be arriving. Let me check my Amazon app. I think he's supposed to arrive this Friday. It said Friday, but I'm not sure if that's when he's being sent or when he's supposed to arrive. So let me actually check that again. God. Why is it that the apps take so fucking long? Like, come on. You can tap the screen and it doesn't register your tap like for a few seconds. Okay, it says arriving Friday. It has shipped, so in 2 days I should be getting this figure. I'm very excited to be getting this figure. Okay, so it's actually already in Portland. Who knows? I may actually get this figure tomorrow. If it comes in tomorrow, hell, that'd be fucking awesome. Anyway, so I am going to be getting this figure, and I'm very excited to get this figure. I have the Beast Wars Tigerhawk. It's down in my storage room. I have to find the case that it's in, but I mean, it's been over like 23 years since I even opened that case up, so I'm afraid to even see what's inside that case at this point. Yeah, but so I have a fair memory of what that figure looks like, and I cannot wait to see what this figure looks like in general.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the Transformers Legacy United Leader Class Beast Wars Universe Tigerhawk. One of the very first Fuzors that we've seen introduced into the Generations line in a very long time. This guy was a fusion between the bodies of both Air Razor and Tigertron, and when you translate that into an action figure, it creates for an insanely
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I was going back to Kingdom. War for Cybertron Kingdom. when they started bringing out the beast, the Predacons, I was actually hoping that we were going to get like Quick Strike and Silverbolt. I felt like it was a major league fuck up on Hasbro's part not to get the Fusors out in Kingdom. Instead, we got a few repackages, and I think those repackages could have been, they were not needed. Basically, I think we could have kept, not done anything with the with the repackages, and we could have got Quick Strike, Silverbolt, Tigerhawk. I'm hoping one of these days we even get Depth Charge and Rampage, because those are the figures that I had Depth Charge, I had Rampage, Tigerhawk, Transmetal 2 Megatron, and Optimal Optimus. I actually didn't have any of the smaller figures. I only had the bigger ones. So I want to get the rest. Where's Depth Charge? Where's Rampage at? I think those would look awesome with the advances that we have had in technology when it comes to these figures.
Detailed design. So as we check him out, the face sculpt I think is looking brilliant. The second you kind of smack an expression onto a Transformer, it is quite literally a game changer. So those grinning teeth are looking sick, as so is pretty much all of the sculpted in techie detail. Because he's kind of an amalgamation between two characters, it's cool to spot the similarities. So almost everything white is a callback to Tigertron. You get the Falcon feet up top, and as you spin him around here to the back, he is packing a pair of enormous mechanized wings. The feathery details on these are looking great, and for a leader...
Okay, so the one thing I see right here that I am not a fan of is on the original Transmetal 2 Tigerhawk, his wings were actually spring-loaded, where it would fire the missiles and everything, and then it would also help the blasters flip out front. You don't see that here. It doesn't look like it has it, so I think that's a major flaw that is on Hasbro's part. They could have done. They could have done that. I would have been willing to spend a little bit of extra money just to have those spring-loaded wings, along with the missiles that would fire from it.
Class, the parts count is pretty impressive. So from the back, he's not hollow in the slightest, but as you spin him around here to the front, I'm gonna be real, guys, I am not the biggest fan of these massive cutouts. Because these face you in robot mode, I really wish they had gone above and beyond to kind of fill these in, but with the exception of that, a fantastic update. Makes me super pumped for the upcoming Silverbolt, because they really haven't stylized this guy too much. Although one thing which I definitely think is worth bearing in mind is that during reverse transformation, these pistons are a separate piece. They have a tendency to quite literally catapult across the room. Because this guy costs around $50, I don't think it would have been too much to have asked for a nice pin to have been shot through these, just to prevent any pieces going missing. But if you bear that in mind, you should be pretty much good to go. Now, because this guy was basically a super weapon created by the Vok sent down to wipe out Megatron, let's check out what weaponry he is packing. And
I kind of like that because he's a super weapon. I love Tigerhawk. Don't get me wrong. He was a very powerful character and everything. But to say he was a super weapon, I mean, the Nemesis took him out. It was only one cannon from the Nemesis that literally took out Tigerhawk. I'm not trying to diminish the character, but considering that the guy had the ability to summon tornadoes and everything, you would think that he would have had a little bit of wouldn't have had that much trouble deflecting one fusion cannon, basically. I think it was one fusion cannon, but if it was two or three, or even all the weapons just trained on Tigertron, I would have been more understanding. That he got fucked up, but he literally just took, it was one fusion cannon that literally took him out.
up first, we see the inclusion of these feathered clubs, which have been really nicely detailed. That metallic silver overspray is looking sick. Now, because this guy has zero wrist articulation, you gotta fake it until you make it. If you mistransform him, you can kind of have the swords tilting downwards, which from certain angles, I think works a treat. But the second you kind of turn that to the side, unfortunately the illusion is very quickly lost. Weapon storage though is great. Both of them basically become a part of those huge mechanized wings, so the integration is seamless, but...
I really am not a fan even though I like the figure, I'm not. They just missed a big opportunity here, having this be hollow plastic. That's one thing I'll give PrimeVsPrime credit about, is this should not have been hollow plastic. If anything, it should have had like a hinge. If they didn't want to go with like a launching ability, they should have had like have it be either like a cover on a hinge, and that way you could close it up and it would look decent. And then like instead of having where you have to hook the feather onto the wing like this, it could have been something along the line of like the missile that they used for the launcher regarding Siege Sideswipe. I just did a review of the Generation 2 Toxitron Sideswipe, and I'll put that in the description. But they could have done something like that with the feather slash missile or whatever you want to call it with this guy. Instead of having it hook onto the wing itself, it could have just been like a little peg and it just goes straight in. I just don't like how hollow this is, but I'm not the one that is in the boardroom at Hasbro that can give feedback. If I was in the boardroom that gives feedback, I'd be like, why the fuck is is a hollow, number one? Well, we just think it would be best for this. Okay, well, number two, why is it not spring loaded? Yeah, the customers like a sense of nostalgia. Even if it seems weird, like spring loaded wings or spring loaded missiles, that will get the consumer's eyes because it hits them in the back of the head. It's that nostalgia factor. That's why when you see something like, say, music from the 80s or a musical band from the 80s and people want to go see that, it's because it feeds to that need to relive something. And I felt that they really missed a chance here to, you know, to basically give the consumer something to remember,
Still, those nasty ass hollow gaps definitely aren't doing this guy any favours at all. He also comes packing with a pair of blasters, which from the side pretty much look like a pair of ice cube trays. I mean, these things are so damn hollow. Check out those massive...
Okay, now this is one issue I had with PrimeVsPrime. Even to a lesser extent, Emgo kind of mentioned it, but Emgo, he actually brought another point up. I'm not sure if PrimeVsPrime did, so let's actually continue on for a second.
Gaps that we have from both sides on both of them. So, yeah, they are a pathetic excuse for cannons.
Wow. Pathetic excuse for cannons. Holy shit. I wouldn't go say that they're pathetic. I wouldn't say that they're pathetic at all, but here, let's actually rewind a little bit. Here, let's just go back.
Sides on both of them. So,
okay, hold on, okay, I think this will have to be the best I can do. I think that this was intended. I don't think that this was meant to make the weapon hollow. And here's my logic. Here's my reasoning. You can actually see some molding on the inside. It looks like wires or something like that. It's molding, basically. It isn't just a flat piece of plastic. There's actual molding there. So my theory, here's my thinking, okay? Here's my thinking, and you can disagree if you want. I think that those holes are meant to be like vents. Like vents like for a machine or something, Think of it like this. Tigerhawk, he's in a major fucking firefight against, let's say Rampage. He's in a firefight against Rampage. They're just trading ammunition back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. His weapon is going to start overheating. And it would make sense that they would have these little vents attached to the gun. That way it could expel the heat. That's just my thinking. To say that this is like, what was his exact words again? Hold on, let's see here.
Hollow. Check out those massive gaps that we...
Okay, here's a better shot. You can see all the molding. I don't think that this was meant to make the weapon look hollow. I think it was just venting. But let's see, what does he say now?
Have from both sides on both of them. So, yeah, they are a pathetic excuse for cannons. But...
No, I totally disagree. They're not pathetic. I've seen some fucking pathetic accessories for Transformers recently. One of the worst fucking accessories I've seen recently was the slingshot for 86 Wheelie. That thing was pathetic. There it actually looks like there is some purpose here for those for the way that the gun was molded. I don't think that it's hollow. I think they're meant to be seen as vents. That way the gun could like vent the heat buildup. In the comment section, do you think that those blasters are too hollow? Do you think that, or do you think that they're like my theory is that they could be vents, and that it being because of all the molding on the inside?
Again, their integration almost makes them redeemable, as they do become a pair of animation accurate over the shoulder blasters, but they are also posable, so you can move them up and down. I also believe during some sequences, Tigerhawk would use them as kind of underslung weapons, so that's definitely pretty cool. And then the final weapon this guy comes packing with would be a tiny wrist-mounted blaster. And like it says on the tin, it can be seamlessly smacked onto the wrist. So weaponry-wise, for a modern leader class, this guy's packing a bunch. But some of those cost-cutting measures that can be seen, I think are letting some of them down. You know, if DNA Design decide to whack out a surprise gap filler kit, then I definitely think it's going to make this guy look a whole lot better. Because with the exception of some of those nasty-ass gaps, this guy really...
There's not that many gaps. And the only gaps I agree with that were not necessary are on the wings. The rest that there seems to be a logical reasoning for those gaps. You know, if you just take time to look at it and think. You know, I would say that those blasters were hollow if there was no molding on the inside. But if they're gonna put molding on the inside like they did, what would be the point to fucking closing it up then? There'd be no point. It would be wasting money to take that time to put the molding in, only then we're just going to cover it up. It makes no fucking sense. So those blasters, I'm letting the blasters go. The wings, that's where a major issue I have is.
really is looking pretty bang on to how he appeared on the show. Now, checking out Tigerhawk's posability, there are some questionable design choices here. So, up first, at the base of the wing, this can move forwards and backwards. It can then hinge in the middle, which is decent. The wings can be rotated up to a pretty decent range, so...
Should have been spring. Should have at least been a spring to move, you know, to fling the wing up at least. But no, they decided to just literally just have it be manually situated.
You can kind of recreate the shields that he would sometimes use to protect himself with in the show, so the wings are pretty great. In terms of the head though, this is a straight up fail. It will look down, but it cannot look up at all. This guy was near enough always in flight, he even died in flight, so what a massive miss for him not to even look up in the slightest. I think that is such a fail. It will look side to side and can also rotate left to right. The shoulders are interesting, especially this side, so they'll move both forwards and backwards no problem. The scalp of the tiger head can hinge out the way to allow the shoulder to kick out. Now that's fine, but check this out. Bang! The bicep joint so easily...
Okay, number one. Did you see the amount of torque he put on that in that video? Here, let's go back. Hold on.
Now that's fine, but check this out. Bang! The bicep...
It wasn't even like a smooth movement to lower the arm. It was literally BAM! Like he literally yanked that thing down. I'm sorry, but yeah, you're going to yank it, it's going to fucking come out of place. This is something I can't recall if Emgo actually mentioned. He did mention the scalp part of Tigerhawk's head. But I think that PrimeVsPrime, he is over-exaggerating a little bit. I'll have to wait till I see the figure when I get it in hand. But he literally went BAM! He even used a word to describe it. He went BAM! Instead of just going like, he used a little bit too much force, in my opinion.
Joint so easily detaches away from its actual connector that not only from the front does it look super ugly, but it takes a ridiculous amount of force to kind of pull this down so it stays tabbed in. No idea why it has to be this tight, nor why it doesn't actually click into place, so that sucks. But this side, however, ridiculous amount of... bang! The bicep joint so easily detaches away from its actual connector that not only from the front does it look super ugly, but it takes a ridiculous amount of force to kind of pull this down so it stays tabbed in. No idea why it has to be this tight, nor why it doesn't actually click into place, so that sucks, but this side, however, has no issues at all. I really wish they had designed it similarly to this side. There's then a bicep cut, an elbow bend, no wrist articulation on a character who includes a pair of swords. There is no reason for this either. He's a $55 leader class. They easily could have engineered these to match G2 Laser Prime, so that is really bad. In terms of the hip skirt, this can move out to the side, and the waist joint is decent, although it does stop once you reach a certain point, but definitely not to the point where it would compromise any poses. The hips, surprisingly, are on ratchet joints, so they will kick forwards. They will then kick back roughly to that far. Out to the sides, there is a thigh cut, slightly past 90 here at the knee, and he does include a gap filler, although again, this kind of ends just before the knee stops bending, so why they couldn't have extended this just a tiny bit more to past 90 here at the knee, and he does include a gap filler.
Okay, he mentions the gap filler. Well, if the gap filler went all the way, wouldn't you have problems trying to get the legs to then stand straight, at a straight angle? Doesn't there have to be a little bit of gap there? Because you're literally like kind of forcing a full object to, trying to get something to stand straight, but it seems like it would be kind of restrained by the gap filler, I honestly don't really have that much problems with gaps, unless if it's like fucking ugly as hell. I really don't have that much of a problem. My problems, as a lot of you know, it's more along the line with Hasbro and their business decisions. When it comes to the figures itself, unless if it's something unnecessary, I'm willing to forgive a lot of the how the figure is developed and everything.
Although again, this kind of ends just before the knee stops bending, so why they couldn't have extended this just a tiny bit more to make this look complete really does just baffle me. And then finally for the ankles, these can rock side to side to a decent range. So articulation wise, it's definitely not terrible by any means, but considering this guy was always in flight, he definitely should have had a better range looking upwards, and it's a leader class, he really should have included a pair of wrist joints. But to see what he is truly capable of, now let's put him through the pose test. Now, checking out some size comparisons, on the right hand side we have Tigerhawk's arch nemesis, Transmetals 2 Megatron, who ultimately was the reason for Tigerhawk's demise. This guy really didn't last any more than I think 3 or 4 episodes, but scale wise this definitely does match what we saw from the series. These really are awesome companion pieces to go alongside one another. Here is how he stacks up alongside one half of his fusion. We have Voyager class Kingdom Tigertron. My only hope is that Tigerhawk doesn't discolor as badly as this guy had.
Okay, now I have Tigertron, and I'm wondering if it's because I have my figures in a dark room. But it's like, what does this guy keep his figures literally out in the sunlight for this sort of yellowing to happen? Here, I'll be right back. I'll even show you. Here, I'll be right back, guys. Hold on, let me. Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I did not realize my mic was still muted. So here, let's actually start from the beginning again. Hold on, let's turn this off. Here is the webcam. Let's do full screen. There you go. I am sorry about that. I did not realize my mic was muted. Uh, I don't really see any yellowing on my guy, and I think it's because of the fact that I keep my figures in a room. It isn't totally dark, but it's dark more than it's lit. I have a couple little dark panels on the windows, but there's still light that comes through the cracks between the panels. I could walk around that room without bumping into anything. Let's just say that. I think that for Tigertron, for let's switch back now. I think for Prime versus Prime, for his Tigertron figure to be this bad, he has to be keeping it in direct sunlight. I if that's because I think isn't that how these figures yellow is because of the fact that it is in direct sunlight. Is that how the yellowing happens? I got this figure when it first came out in Kingdom, so it's been probably about the same amount of time that he had his, and for his figure to be so horribly yellow like this, it makes me wonder if he's actually keeping his figures in a room that's like 99% windows, without any curtains, without any kind of light dimming ability, and the sun is literally just beaming on these figures for up to 12, 13 hours a day, depending on where he lives and everything. I think that's why it's so fucking yellow. I mean, it's pretty horrendously bad how yellow his is when I've had my figure the same amount of time and there's no yellowing on it. Okay, so that is that. Let's continue on, shall we? So let's go here. Hold on, let's go over here.
Because check out how nasty and ugly some of those yellowed pieces are. One thing which I did think was pretty cool is when they were designing Tigerhawk, they did go back to the original texture files of both Tigertron and Airraiser and basically pulled some of those details and integrated them into this figure. So it's pretty awesome that they've kind of gone all in on the fusion idea. The details, the texture that we've got on this guy does match up very nicely with what we've seen here from Kingdom Tigertron. And then here he is with the second and final part of the fusion, Kingdom Deluxe Class Airraiser. Now, checking out Tigerhawk's transformation, the best way that I could describe it would be simply chaotic. There are so many things happening at once that at one point you will think, damn, this thing is a hot mess. But trust me guys, I'm going to show you the steps in as much detail as possible. So, to kickstart things off with, you're going to want to come around here to the back, angle the wings out like this.
Okay, now I'm not sure if I'm actually going to convert this figure because like I said, I've seen this video. I saw MGo's video, and I like just to be able to get it one and done, not have to fucking hope everything fits together. That's why I kind of like sideswiped converting that figure so much because it was very nice and smooth. This guy has a shit ton of steps, and you're gonna see it right now.
Really and truly just to get them out of the way. So they should be positioned exactly how I have them here. Then what you'll want to do is come here to the shoulders, hinge these up. Take these little forearm gaps, slide them down, then rotate the fists inside, snap this into place. Now specifically for this side that has the beast head, you're going to want to rotate at the bicep so this slot is now facing inwards like that. Then what we can do is bring this shoulder joint down, do the same here more or less on this side, so slide that gap filler down, slide the fist inside, snap this into place, and bring that down for now. Then what I like to do is take the hip skirt, hinge this here up. You'll then want to bend forwards at Tigerhawk's knee like this, spin around here to the side, take this purple section, and rotate this here all the way around to the back. Then we can take the robot foot and compress this inside like that. Take this purple spike piece, fold it in until it does snap into place. Take the beast foot, fold this forwards. Do the same here for this side. So bend here at the knee. Make sure the knee retains this position because this purple piece is super tight. 9 times out of 10, it will want to take the knee along with it. But just slide that there back. Take the bot mode foot, slide this here.
Okay, I do want to say that even he said that purple piece is extremely tight. It would most likely move the leg piece. You also got to remember this is his copy of the figure. I have copies of figures that would have horrendously bad issues, like oh god, it was the Dion from the Ariel Dion Wardon set. Yeah, he had, if I remember correctly, he had an issue with the leg. I think the leg was a major issue with that figure. But the arm also, if I remember correctly, had an issue. But other people did not have issue with the arm. So I think it's based on just how each figure is assembled. Except if it's just like, basically if it's like for Dion, where it's literally the pieces are kind of just plugs. Basically it plugs into the limbs. It could just be that his is tight because maybe it's done by screws, and whoever the machine may have over torqued the screws, and that's why it's tight. So I'll have to wait to see how mine is. But just keep in mind, like I said, user, their experience may vary basically.
Here inside, flip this purple piece forwards, snap this piece here forwards, make sure it actually clicks into place like that. Then we can bring this piece here down for now. Then what we'll do is we'll take the eagle feet, detach them away from the shoulders, and as we check him out from the side, these actually slide into these slots. So you'll want to make sure they are detached away from these slots. Do the exact same here for this side, so actually pull those away like that. Then we can take this whole white section and detach it slightly away, just like this. Now it will peg back in just a sec, but this really is to just help things get out of the way. So then we're going to spin around here to the front, detach the shoulders away from these little white tabs. So do the same here for this side, hinge this upwards. Then what you'll do is you'll take this chest plate, hinge this here out to the sides. This really is where things can begin to get a little chaotic. Then we're going to take these little falcon legs and swivel these here around to the front. So do the exact same here for this side, swivel them all the way around. Now you'll want to take the robot mode head, rotate it so the back is now facing the front. Then what we'll do is lift this piece up and split these legs here right down the middle. Now for this, you're basically going to want to angle them so they completely get out of the way. So at the moment, he should be looking like this, because what we will do is take the head and the chest piece.
So basically, Tigertron should look like Nightmare Fuel at this point. Because if I saw something like that starting to walk towards me, I'd be freaking the fuck out. So, like, basically, this is what I would call his Nightmare mode, basically.
And bring this here all the way down. Now this will actually soft click there into place. So at the moment, this is how Tigerhawk should look. Then we can take his robot mode head and slide it inside this cavity. Then you'll want to spin around here to the side. Make sure this backpack is detached, because we're then going to rotate at this purple piece just like that. With that now rotated, then we can reattach the backpack so it will lock in as secure as it was in its robot form. Then what we'll do is we'll take this arm here, compress it down slightly, take this panel, fold it forwards, rotate this section here around, completely compress that. Now, on the inside of the bicep is a hollow gap. This is actually going to double as a slot for transformation, as it's going to slide into that purple tab. So, snap that in there, completely compress that all the way in. It should lock in super securely. Then what we can do is line these little slots up with these brown tabs. So, just snap that in there and do the exact same here for this side. Line that up, compress, and you will form the chest plate of the beast mode. This piece will then fold over the top. Then what we can do, this can be kind of challenging, is you're going to want to bring this section here down. Now this little white slot is going to slide into this brown tab. It does take quite a lot of unnecessary force, but trust me, it will peg in there super securely. Then what you'll do is kind of flip up to the top. As you guys can see, we have this slot on the forearm that's going to slide into this tab. So just kind of bring this here back until it does snap there into place. Once that's complete, we can then take this section, snap that into place, and kind of bring this here up. So at the moment, everything should look like this. Then what we can do is take these pieces, bring these up. Now these slots are going to slide into those tabs, and this circular port is going to slide into that slot. So line all of this up, snap that into place, and rotate this piece here forwards. Do the exact same here for this side. So line all of that up, snap that into place, and then for a few finishing touches, you basically just begin compressing the rear legs of the beast mode. Make sure that everything is slid into its proper position. And bang! Here we have Tigerhawk fully transformed into his beast mode. Now, despite how chaotic and crazy that transformation could get during some steps, the beast mode is actually quite solid. Although, because this is Transformers Legacy and Hasbro is no stranger when it comes to kind of putting their own creative spin on original designs, I maybe would have liked to have seen them take creative license when it comes to the design of the legs. Now, I know it's animation accurate to have the front set be bigger than the back legs, but because this guy is a leader class and when you fully extend the wings has an enormous wingspan, the legs are super unstable. You know, they're really small, they're only on ball joints and pin joints, so posability wise is super limited.
Okay, well, why would you want to pose, him in that sort of position though, where like Tigerhawk is literally on his rear legs? PrimeVsPrime even admits that these legs are not they're not the strongest of the set of legs. The front paws are the biggest. Why would you want to try putting something that is definitely going to not? Why would you want to put all the weight on the weaker aspect of the limbs? Which are the rear. If that makes any sense, the rear limbs. I don't understand that logic. Unless if you're literally like having him try to tackle, like say Megatron or a Predacon, that would make sense. But if you're just trying to like do a fucking pose, like for like a screen, like for a shot, if it's just Tigertron by himself, why would you want to do that if you already acknowledged that the rear legs are not the strongest aspect of the limbs?
Ratchet joints, at least in the hips, I don't think would have gone amiss, but personally, I would have rather had them just been bigger in general. But as we check out the details, the face looks cool, definitely would benefit from a nice wash over the top. He even has some jaw articulation, the shoulders can move forwards and backwards, and he even includes kind of ankle rocker for the front beast legs, so that's cool. Unfortunately, the same can't be said here for the rear ones. These are more or less just static, they only move forwards and backwards, no tiltage.
Well, I really don't care if there's any tiltage, especially for the rear legs, because they're animals. I don't see them trying to do do things like they would if they were in the primary mode, like if they're trying to traverse rocks. If Tigertron is in his alt mode and he sees like a group of boulders, I don't see him trying to climb it. He's going to try and just fly over it. So I don't really see the need to have ankle tiltage when it comes to the alt mode feet at all. To me it's just kind of weird that you would want ankle tiltage in alt mode like that,
which I really think would have helped in stabilizing this guy on the ground. But it is cool how you can take the cannons and kind of flip these forwards. That was a look that we saw in the TV show, and they're also blast effect compatible.
Okay, see, this is what I was talking about right here. About the vents, if those are meant to be seen as vents on the blasters. You have an image here of him just blasting away either like missiles or even like say large caliber rounds of firepower. Who knows? But the logic to me at least is that it would be building up heat within the blaster itself. Therefore, it's going to need vents to expel that heat.
So when it comes to taking on Megatron, this guy shouldn't have any issues at all. Which, talking of, here we have the Legacy Transmetals to Megatron, and it's great that in the show they fought as much in their beast modes as they usually did in their robot mode. So just by going from that, we're able to gather a great sense of scale, and these two leaders seem to match up perfectly to what was actually shown on screen. Here is how he sizes up alongside a slightly more manageable comparison, Kingdom Tigertron. And then finally, here we have Kingdom Airraiser. And that texture similarity can be seen again, especially when you compare both sets of the Beast Wings. And so, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Legacy United Leader Class Tigerhawk. Overall, it's a decent update, but unfortunately there are just a few small things which I think hold this guy back from being great. The articulation is okay, but for a leader class it should be much better. Why this guy doesn't feature any wrist rotation is just beyond me. He's a character which can also fly. He flew so much in the show, so why the head isn't able to be posed upwards, again, I think sucks. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the cost-cutting measures either. You know, the hollowness in the wings, and in particular in those cannons, I think is straight up ugly.
I think he is over exaggerating the blasters. The wings, yeah, the wings are problematic. The blasters, I don't think they're as bad as he is trying to convey. Especially if he took time and looked and acknowledged that there's molding on the inside of the blaster. Instead of trying to push this video out to try to get as many views as possible, if he actually took time to look at the figure, I'm sure that he would be like, oh, there's molding in here. That there must be a reason there's molding in here, and then that should click, get the fucking wheels to start moving. Like, oh, well, there's molding here. It could be like this is seen as a vent. It is a cost-cutting measure, at least for the blasters themselves. I don't think it is. For the wings, it's a different story, though.
The transformation the first few times you convert him, I will be real, is an absolute nightmare. It's super chaotic. There are so many things going on at once, yet they need to happen for future steps to go on. So it's just something that you have to persevere with. But once everything clips in, the beast mode is surprisingly pretty bang on to how it appeared on the show. Although again, I have a few issues. You know, those back beast legs really should have been on ratchet joints. Because this is a leader class, those wings are kind of hefty. There is a lot of weight for two tiny ball joints to hold up. And honestly, it makes posing him in base mode an absolute nightmare. In terms of a recommendation, if you are a Beast Wars fan, then this is definitely the best Tigerhawk that has ever been released. But if you are patient, if you can just wait a few months, I think this guy would be a lot better if you can find him at a discount or on sale. I don't think the full $55 is worth it, especially as there are quite a few cost-cutting measures, as I mentioned. I would love to get your thoughts on this Tigerhawk down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, transform and roll out!
Okay, so that is it for the... Hold on, let's turn this off. Let's see here. There we go. That is it for the Prime versus Prime Transformers. Come on. Why is it not working? Hold on. Okay, here, let's hold on. I'm trying to. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to figure out why my camera is deactivated. Okay, well. Okay, something is causing my. Okay, let's just go back. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, hold on. I see what it is. Hold on. Okay, there it goes. There's that. And then there's that. Okay, there it goes. Now let's just turn that off. And then I can. Crap, I'm going to. I'll just have to turn off the background. There it goes. Okay, so that is the review, Prime vs. Prime's review of Tigerhawk. Does the figure look like it has problems? Yes. I'm not going to lie. I've never seen a figure that I will give a 10 out of 10 to. To give a figure a 10 out of 10 means that the figure is perfect, that there's nothing wrong with it. You know, that's why if I was to give a number to it, I'd say it's like a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect, but it has problems. Are the problems as bad as what Prime vs. Prime said? No, I don't think they are. I think he was over-exaggerating when it came to the blasters. If he, like I said, if he took time to actually look at the blasters instead of trying to get this video out in a quick manner, I think he would have noticed the detailing and everything. The ratchets for the rear legs, like I said, that is more of an issue with assembly. it could be that the legs, the rear legs on his figure were not, however they're secured, may not be as tight as it should be. And then somebody may get a figure whose rear legs in the beast mode are horrendously tight to the point that you feel that it's going to torque the plastic to the point that it could damage it. When it comes to assembly, issues, that's something I'm like, well, that's more of a user experience will vary basically. But when it comes to like aesthetics, I can agree with like the wings. The wings are very problematic. I think that the wings should have been spring loaded, but I don't think that the blasters are that bad. I think that was just him blowing smoke, kind of. Everything else on the figure, I'm willing to give a pass. Uh, the wrist articulation, I don't play with the figures. I open them up, I give you my thoughts, and then I put them on a shelf because I'm more of a visual person. I like to look at what I have. I don't play with them. The head looking up, once again, that's more of a user's, like the owner's position. How do they how what does the user prefer? But I can't wait to get this figure. This figure is supposed to be arriving on Friday. However, let's check. Let me check it one more time. Okay, come on. Okay, yeah, it's still as of 6:26 a.m. this morning. It's still at an Amazon facility in Portland. So I really think that this figure is going to arrive tomorrow. Which if it does, awesome. I can't wait. It'll be a nice early New Year's Day gift to myself. So I can't wait to actually get my hands on this figure. And when I do, I'll give you my final thoughts. Am I going to convert this figure? Possibly not. I don't convert every figure, especially the larger ones, simply because I'm afraid that it could break. Hasbro has a habit of pegs and tabs breaking when you try to convert some figures. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all next time for the next recap video. So until then, just take it easy, and I guess I'll see you all later. My name is Jeff, aka GCurse. Wishing you all a great day, and stay safe, everybody. Peace out.